guys, and welcome back to Creative Pet Keeping. In today's video, we are continuing the Betta breeding saga. This is part 3, and after Arnold's horrible and embarrassing fail at trying to spawn, I gave the pair a break by putting the female in a breeding container, continuing to feed her while Arnold worked on his nest, and then released them once again. So here they are, kind of flirting a little bit before I turn off the light, let them go to sleep, and check on them the next day. To my surprise, as soon as I uncarted the tank, not only did I see eggs, but oh man, Arnold made it rain. I've watched this little guy grow up from a tiny little hatched fry to this big fish, and today he has finally become a manfish. That being said, I was still quite paranoid about whether or not they were eating the eggs and having a little egg buffet, or if they're going to put them back into the nest, because I actually haven't looked into the nest yet. I started filming as soon as I uncarted the tank, so here I am getting a close-up, and bloop, yep, they are releasing eggs, and looks like there are a couple more eggs in the nest, which means that clearly somebody was busy all morning. Now, just because a pair can successfully wrap and the eggs can fall out of the female does not necessarily mean that the eggs are fertilized. But luckily, spoiler alert, we currently have babies. And if you stick around till the end of the video, I will actually show you some cute little bouncing babies. I'll include that clip because they're so cute. Everyone loves the bouncing babies. So here, I just kind of sped up the footage so we can see how they are diligently picking up all the eggs. I am very happy that the female was participating and helping out. Their mom did the same previously in their first spawn. And oh, there we go. We are back to proper good quality footage with the camera so we can enjoy this magical moment in all its glory. So here he is wrapping. This time I actually got the footage of him doing it, and he's still pretty awkward, but you know, it does the job. So the female, when she is wrapped, she kind of goes into this catatonic state, and it kind of looks like she died. And she will be kind of out of it. Here she goes down to pick up the eggs, and as you can see, she's kind of fallen over a little bit. She's still kind of derpy, but she's trying to get the eggs. Arnold, I don't know what happened to Arnold. I don't know if he got confused. Maybe all this spawning takes too much of his brain power and he needs to come back. But Arnold, your eggs are on the bottom. I know that nest needs more bubbles, but the poor female is trying to pick them up all by herself. Anna's doing all the work. Come on, contribute. There we go. That's a good fish. So once again, I'm going to speed up the footage so that way we can enjoy watching this really cool spawning behavior without having to sit here all day. And instead of showing these fish wrap and put the eggs in once or twice, it's kind of cool to see them repeat the behaviors and to also observe what they do in between. So Anna is definitely the more diligent one. She is definitely on egg patrol and spends a lot of time checking every crevice, and luckily Arnold is starting to follow what she's doing and checking as well. So here, after they double checked for the eggs, they dance around and go back to wrapping. So luckily Arnold, look at him, he's making it rain again. There's even more coming out. He's doing a very good job. I also think that giving the female 2 more days of heavy feeding definitely, gave her the opportunity to maybe become a little more eggy. I don't know if that would have been enough time to really make a difference, but that's one of my theories. In regards to those of you that have mentioned the female size and getting in the way of Arnold being able to properly spawn with her, I do agree with you. And that is why in my first video of this little mini-series, I did mention that it is better to choose a female that is smaller than the male. In this case, Anna and also I have another female from Fleur Aquatics are the only 2 females that are somewhat good matches for Arnold, because all my other females are significantly smaller. And I don't mean just a little bit smaller, I mean literally half his size. So I thought it would be much better to pair him with a fish that was at least similar to his size versus a fish who would look completely tiny compared to him and probably would get intimidated by a male of such big proportions. Speaking to new and beginning breeders, I really do hope that when you watch my both two series, that I am not your only resource in terms of all the information that you get before you start breeding. I do hope that you look up other breeders on YouTube, you contact local clubs, you try to find and get to know at least maybe another experienced breeder, because while I do strive to provide you guys with the most accurate information that I possibly can, because I am a beginner, even as much research and preparation as I can do beforehand, I can't do everything perfect right away. So I hope that you just don't try to emulate exactly what I do, but learn from me and other sources as well. I think that will help you become a much more well-rounded breeder and help you avoid certain mistakes, kind of like how I was able to avoid certain mistakes by learning from multiple people. Obviously, you're still gonna mess up. Even experienced breeders mess up as well. So definitely just stay positive and be open-minded and never stop learning. So back to focusing on Arnold and Anna. Now the entire footage that is being sped up right now that you're looking at actually took place about I would say 11, 12-ish in the morning. I turned on the light for them earlier. Usually the lights on my aquariums don't turn on till 12, so they can be on from about 12 to 7:30, 8-ish in the afternoon. So I turn on a separate light for them at 9 in the morning, which is I think when they started to spawn. But while they didn't spawn for a very long time, after a while they did spend a lot of time just searching for eggs constantly and making sure they pick everything up. And I wonder if that was because I added so much Indian almond leaves, so they spent a lot of time thoroughly searching throughout the tank. This is also why it is usually not recommended to use gravel in your spawning aquarium, because when the eggs fall, they will get stuck in between the gravel and it is very, very difficult to pick them up, and that will usually cause the yield of your spawn to be much smaller, because you will have a smaller amount of eggs that will be able to be safely picked up and put back into the nest. The other concern is the fact that usually you don't perform any water changes at the beginning of your spawn, so you have to be very careful about maintaining very good water quality. You don't want any eggs rotting in the tank, because that will create a lot of other ammonia. There can be a lot of fungus and mold that will grow on the eggs, and that will negatively affect your tank as a whole. One good backup to help prevent issues is to have some snails in the tank that may find some uneaten eggs and be able to eat them to help prevent these issues from occurring. I definitely recommend sticking to a bare bottom tank, and if you do use any Technicore, kind of keep it at a minimum. As you can see, the female is navigating around the Indian almond leaves and searching no problem, but if I had too many rocks and tiny pebbles here and there, she might have had a harder time finding the eggs. So Arnold did a pretty awesome job taking care of the eggs, making sure to pick up all the eggs that drop and fanning them to make sure they don't get any fungus growing on them. Here he is not very happy with me filming his little babies. Now I had to film with my phone again because for some reason my camera refuses to focus on these little guys and my phone just barely can, but we've got some bouncing babies in the nest and a grumpy yet proud daddy. So these are so cute. Now the reason they're called bouncing babies is because while they are finally kind of getting out of their eggs, they're still attached to their eggs and kind of attached to the yolk sac, so they can't really swim. So they kind of stay vertically and they'll kind of wiggle and maybe fall a little from the nest and kind of go back up as they're kind of starting to wiggle around and figure out how to swim. They're not yet swimming, and here I'm checking because there are a couple that kind of moved out and they were under the water lettuce, which is okay because usually when you have bouncing babies, usually give or take the next day, they will be free swimming. These little guys grow up so fast, but they're so tiny and so hard to film. It's such a struggle. I definitely had some better footage in my previous spawn, so definitely go back and check that out. Oh, there we go. We can see some of the little little bouncing critters. And oh, thank you for getting into the camera, Arnold. I know you're mad that I'm getting all up in your babies, and you must protect them with all your flaring self. But these guys are so cute and so tiny, but yet so hard to film. One day, guys, one day I will figure this out and be able to properly film these babies for you, so you may see how cute and adorable and yet so tiny they are. I've bred a couple different types of fish, and I've seen a variety of different fry, but man, have I never seen tinier fish. Betta babies are so tiny. And if you also pay close attention, you'll see the little microorganisms actually swimming around. Those little tiny dots moving around here or there are all the little critters that these little guys will be feeding on. On February 22nd, the fry were free swimming, and if you look very closely, there's one little fry just hanging out there. All his brothers and sisters are just hiding somewhere all over the tank. Actually, I see two now on the screen. I'm getting a closer look. Now, I'm going to try to use the digital zoom on my phone, which is not that great, but it's the best I can do. And as you can see, look at that little tiny baby. Oh my goodness. So that's what a free swimming tiny little fry looks like. I'm going to try to zoom in a little more. It's not the bestest quality, but look. You can see his little eye, and he's got a little tail, and it's completely transparent. There's some organs kind of forming in there. And he's just tiny and hiding in the water lettuce. And it is late at night, and I only have one light on, so it looks super yellow, but just wanted to show you guys this tiny little baby. One day, this will be a majestic Betta, and we will follow its entire journey